everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today we are going to be talking about my most anticipated releases for winter/spring. Since I like to do these releases quarterly, I go from January to March. So that's why I was hesitant to say like winter slash a little bit of spring, because yeah, spring does kind of start in March. So that's what we're starting with. All right, so I only have water because I already had cocoa today. All right, so I have my Goodreads up, and I have been keeping lists, which I think are a really good idea. I've been keeping track of middle grade, historical fiction, a few thrillers and mysteries, but not many, and then Christian fiction. So I have them separated from each other, so that way they'll be all together when I do this list. All right, so let's go ahead and start with, I wonder if I have any thrillers. No, none are coming up until later on in the year. I only have 2. Let me know if you know of any good, like, clean thriller authors or thriller authors that you enjoy that might be coming out this year, because I'd love to know. All right. Okay, so then let's go to middle grade and YA. So, it's taking forever to load. It's probably because it's my mom's phone. My mom's phone's not updated. I don't know why it's not. Not like mine. I mean, it is the exact same phone, but hers is not updating. I don't know why. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with it won't say, but I know that this is YA, Spy Family Volume 9. I believe, don't quote me, I'll try to look it up, but I think it comes out between March and April of this year. That's the only YA book that I'm excited for. It's a manga series. That's the next one that's coming out. It's already out in Japan, but it needs to be translated and brought here to the US. So yeah, both 9 and 10 are already out in Japan. They're just not out here in the US. I wish they would hurry up and just like do it at the exact same time, because that would be amazing, so we can get the books that we want to read. All right, so let's go to middle grade books. All right, so the first one that's coming out is on February 7th, and it is The Architect by Jonathan Starrett. And I believe this is Christian fiction middle grade, but don't quote me, but I think that's why I wanted to read it, I think. But let's see what it says. It's been a while since I've looked at these books. All right, so this one says, there's a golden rule in Phantom City. No one about when the Zeppelin is out. But one night, 12-year-old Charlie Crane comes face to face with the Zeppelin, and instead of finding trouble, she is awakened. Determined to find the truth in a city plagued with lies, Charlie, along with a quirky band of unlikely heroes, works to free the people of Phantom City from the clutches of a shadowy evil villain. Helped by a mysterious architect who only communicates over radio and telephone, Charlie wrestles with 2 big questions. Can she trust a guide she can't see, and is the truth actually worth the trouble? It sounds really good, so I'm excited. As I said, February, so maybe I'll be able to get it before middle grade March. That would be fun. All right, next one is, I think there was another February one. Yeah, there is. Okay, so the next one is The Town with No Mirrors by Christina Collins. And the cover is interesting, that's for sure. I always kind of like illustrated covers, and this one's very, very different. Okay, so this one says, Zaylee has never seen her own face. She's never seen her reflection or a photo of herself, or even a drawing. In the special community of Gladder Hill, cameras and mirrors are forbidden. It's why everyone's happier here. Nobody talks about anyone else's appearance. You're not supposed to even think about what other people look like, or what you look like. But Zaylee does. She knows her superficial thoughts are wrong, and her sketchbook filled with secret portraits of her classmates and neighbors could get her in trouble. Yet she can't help but think those thoughts, and be curious about the outside world where she once lived years ago. Most of all, she wonders what it's like to see herself, her own face. That sounds amazing. I'm really excited. Like, a place that has like no mirrors or anything. Like, they probably don't even have like glass in their cars or whatever, so might not even have any cars. So I'm really excited to try that one out. I think it's gonna be really good. At least I hope it's gonna be good. All right, so the next one, I think that was it. There's nothing in January for middle grade books. I think we're heading straight to March. Yeah, all right, so I'm trying to go in order for you all. All right, next one is March 7th, and this is Jennifer A. Nielsen's new release, and I love her books. I think I've only read 2 so far, but I am in love with her books. I love them so much, and I'm dying to read more. So, her new release is called Iceberg, and the cover, I just love the cover, and I'm guessing it's about the Titanic, because the cover suggests that. So it says, the thrilling story of a young girl who stows away on board the Titanic, and as she explores, attempting to find answers to her many questions about the ship suddenly finds herself caught up in the desperate struggle to survive after it strikes an iceberg. So, pretty scary. I mean, she stows away on board with nobody, and she's all alone during the Titanic, and ooh, that one's gonna be good. I have a feeling, so I'm excited to read that one. I hope it's not heartbreaking. All right, so there's that one. All right, next one that comes out on March 14th is called A Bit of Earth by Karuna Riazi. And this one says, Maria Latif is used to not having a space of her own. But what happens when she feels a sudden urge to put down roots in the most unexpected of places? Karuna crafts a tender coming-of-age story about friendship, family, and new beginnings. A Bit of Earth is a reimagining of the classic The Secret Garden for readers of Other Words for Home and The Bridge Home. So, sounds pretty good. I'm excited to try it. And I think this is definitely a cover. Like I saw the cover and I was like, those beautiful bright colors. I love it. I gotta read it. All right, next one that's coming out is on March 21st. Yes, March 21st. And that is Wild Bird. And I'm wondering, do I have this book on NetGalley? I can't remember. I know I saw it recently, and I don't. This actually could have been at the library. I know, now I'm confused because I think I saw this at the library. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe not. Because I'm like, did I check this out at the library? Maybe it was just something really familiar and pretty similar. All right, anyway, so this is about a girl named Ripe who's an abandoned girl in 14th century Europe, and she walks from Norway to England looking for safety from the plague. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to know anymore. So basically a survival story where she's basically going to walk alone through countries. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty heartbreaking book. But yeah, we're going to be reading that. That's by Diane Zahler. I forgot to tell the author. All right, next one is on March 28th. And this one is Hamra and the Jungle of Memories. Again, this was another cover. Like, I saw the cover and I was like, yep, putting that on my list. So this says, let's see. Courage is the strongest magic there is. On Hamra's 13th birthday, she receives nothing but endless nagging and yet another errand to run in the Langawi jungle that looms behind her home. No one has remembered her special day. And so, stifled, Hamra ignores something she shouldn't, the rules of the jungle. So the rules of the jungle say, always ask permission before you enter. Hamra walks boldly in. Never take what isn't yours. Hamra finds the most perfect jambu and picks it. Of course, rules exist for a reason, and soon an enormous were-tiger is stalking her dreams, demanding payment for her crimes, and Hamra embarks on a quest deep into the jungle to set things right. So I'm guessing it's kind of, maybe it's like a retelling or myth. Oh, it says a Malaysian spin on Little Red Riding Hood. So, interesting. I'm excited to try that one. And then, let's see. I think, oh no, that is the last one, I think, for March. All right, so those are all the middle grade. Now I'm going to go into historical fiction next. Is there one in January? There's one in January. And this one, again, I think was a cover pick. Oh yeah, look at this cover. It is stunning. It's called River Sing Me Home by Eleanor Shearer. And just the cover, historical fiction, like some of the covers are just gorgeous. And this one is absolutely gorgeous. So this one says, let's see. Her search begins with an ending. The master of the Providence plantation in Barbados gathers his slaves and announces the king has decreed an end to slavery. As of the following day, the Emancipation Act of 1834 will come into effect. The cries of joy fall silent when he announces that they are no longer his slaves. They are now his apprentices. No one can leave. They must work for him for another 6 years. Freedom is just another name for the life they have always lived. So Rachel runs. Yep, I'm going to read it. All right, so there's that one. Next up, I don't think there's any more in January. I think we're already headed to February. Okay, next one that's coming out on February 7th is Stealing by Margaret Verbal. And these are all, the ones that I mentioned so far are secular fiction, and then I'll do all my Christian fiction together at the end. So this one says, a gripping gut punch of a novel about a Cherokee child removed from her family and sent to a Christian boarding school in the 1950s. An ambitious, eye-opening reckoning of history and small-town prejudices. Interesting. Okay. Interested to see what it's about. There is more. Should I keep going? Maybe I'll keep going. So it says, since her mother's death, Kid Crockett has lived with her grief-stricken father, spending lonely days far out in the country, tending the garden, fishing in a local stream, and reading Nancy Drew mysteries. One day, when Kit discovers a mysterious and beautiful woman has moved in just down the road, she is intrigued. Kit and her new neighbor Bella become fast friends. Both outsiders, they take comfort in each other's company. But malice lurks near their quiet bayou, and Kit suddenly finds herself at the center of tragic, fatal crime. Interesting. Okay, so I hope it's good. All right, so let's go on to March. All right, so March 1st, I saw this cover and I was like, yes. So Wild, Beautiful, and Free by Sophronia Scott. And look at this cover. Like, I have to remember to do my favorite covers of the year, because if I enjoy this book, this is going to be in my top favorite covers, because it is absolutely gorgeous. I got paper on my ankle. There we go. All right, so this one is, let's see. Born the daughter of an enslaved woman and a Louisiana plantation owner, Jeanette Babine is raised alongside her white half-sister until her father suddenly dies. His vindictive wife refuses 12-year-old Jeanette her inheritance and sells her into slavery. Now on her own, Jeanette must fight the injustices she faces because of her mixed race. She escapes enslavement and travels from Mississippi to Philadelphia to New York to Ohio, all while searching for purpose, love, and her place in a country torn asunder by the Civil War. So, sounds good. Hopefully it's good. I put a lot on my list. Like, not a ton, but there is quite a few on here that I want to read. I don't think I'll get to all of them, but I would like to get to some. All right, the next one that's coming out is on March 14th. And that one is called Once We Were Home by Jennifer Rosner. Already has over 4.5 stars. Supposedly, probably people got a NetGalley or something. All right, so this one, let's see. Anna will never forget her mother's face when she and her baby brother, Oscar, were sent out of their Polish ghetto and into the arms of a Christian friend. For Oscar, though, their new family is the only one he remembers. When a woman from a Jewish reclamation organization seizes them, believing she has their best interests at heart, Anna sees an opportunity to reconnect with her roots, while Oscar sees only the loss of the home he loves. So, wow, that sounds really good, too. So many good books. Okay. The next one that's coming out, I think there's only 1 or 2 more historical fiction. Yeah, the next one is called Too Soon for Adios by Annette Havez Macias. I'm probably butchering that name, I'm sorry. All right, so let's see. This one says, no one expects to meet their father at their mother's funeral. But for Gabby Medina, that's exactly what happens. Her dad abandoned her when she was a baby, and now he's back. And he wants to give her a house. Gabby doesn't want the house or him, but she could use the money. So Gabby agrees to take it under 2 conditions. First, she can sell the house whenever she wants. Second, accepting it doesn't mean she accepts him. After they strike a deal, Gabby hires a contractor in preparation for a quick sale. But as she gets to know the town and these 2 new men in her life, she learns more about herself than she ever dared to think possible. So I think this is going to be good. This is definitely going to be about family and hopefully a new relationship with her father. That'd be great. So sounds really good. And again, this was another cover. Like, saw the cover, loved it. I don't normally go for like, ooh, pretty covers, but like these are pretty covers. All right, so that is it for historical fiction. On to Christian fiction, which there is quite a few, so I have to scroll because I probably should have like separated my list even more by like a month rather than genre, so that probably would have helped. Oh boy. Okay. Because I'm trying to go in order for you all as well. All right, so forgive me if these aren't in order. I will try, but they're probably not going to be in order because I have a lot of Christian fiction to go through. So I think I'm just going to go through it and I'll put the dates here because they're going to be mixed. I'm sorry about that. But they are going to be January through March. All right, so the first one is Love Makes a Way by Hallie Bridgman. This is the 4th book in the Love and Honor series, and I read the first 3, loved them. And this 4th book, though, is going to be indie published, so I do have to keep an eye out, and I will message her and say, hey, you know, I got to find out where to get your book because I really want to read it. So I definitely want to read it. It's gorgeous cover, and has to do apparently with maybe a cruise ship. I don't know if I can say anything about it. Oh, it is a cruise ship. Ooh, I'm excited about that. Okay. It's going to be fun. I've loved all the books in the series. If you like romantic suspense, you will definitely love that series. So next one is this one, which, again, the cover. Ooh, I have heard there's a lot of trigger warnings for this book. I don't know if it's going to mention it in the actual thing or not. It's not, but I know there is. I'm trying to look at like other people's, but I know there's trigger warnings. I just don't know what they are, but I will let you know if I do plan on reading it. But it's called A Waltz with Traitors by A.L. Sowards. Sorry, I can't pronounce the name right now. But let's see. It's former Russian Empire, 1918. Czech soldier Philippe Sedlak never wanted to fight for the Austro-Hungarian Empire, so at the first opportunity, he defected to the Russians. Now he and others like him have formed the Czechoslovak Legion. Their goal, leave the chaos of Russia, sail to France, and help the Allies defeat the Central Powers, thereby toppling a hated empire and winning an independent Czechoslovakia. So, that was good. I think I've heard somebody mention that it was good, but there are a lot of triggers in it, so if I do read it, I will let you know what they are. All right, next one that's coming out. This one's coming out in January 31st, so it's very soon. I hope to get my hands on it pretty quickly because I'm really excited to read this one. And this is called Dear Henry, Love Edith by Becca Kinzer. And this one is about a woman who is a widow, a very quick widow after marriage. And she decides to forget love, forget marriage, and she plans to fill her 30s with adventure. So she awaits the final paperwork for a humanitarian trip to South Africa. She accepts a short-term nursing position in a small Midwestern town. The last thing she needs is a handsome local catching her eye. How inconvenient is that? Henry Hobbs isn't exactly thrilled to have Edith, who he assumes is an elderly widow, dumped on him as a houseguest for the summer. But he'd do almost anything for his niece, who is practically like a sister to him, given how close they are in age. Especially since Edith will be working nights and Henry works most days. When he and Edith keep missing each other in person, they begin exchanging notes. Short messages at first, then longer letters, sharing increasingly personal parts of their lives. So, apparently he assumes that she's this older widow, and she's not, so I'm guessing some romance is going to happen, but it sounds really cute. And the cover, again, I love cute little, like, illustrated covers. I think they're super adorable, so I love that the note's popping out of a toaster. I think that's funny. All right, the next one that's coming out is March 7th, and that is Codename Edelweiss by Stephanie Lanzam. And her covers are amazing. I read In a Far Off Land by her recently, and the other cover that's coming out reminds me a lot of that one. So, I cannot put it back. There we go. Alright, so this one comes out, did I say March? Yes, March 7th. And I'm guessing Spies because it looks very spy-esque. So this one, let's see. In the summer of 1933, a man named Adolf Hitler is the new and powerful anti-Semitic chancellor of Germany. But in Los Angeles, no-nonsense Secretary Edelweiss has concerns much closer to home. The Great Depression is tightening its grip, and Liesel is the sole supporter of 2 children, an opinionated mother, and a troubled brother. Leon Lewis is a Jewish lawyer who has watched Adolf Hitler's rise to power and the increase in anti-Semitism in America with growing alarm. He believes Nazi agents are working to seize control of Hollywood, the greatest propaganda machine the world has ever known. The trouble is, authorities scoff at his dire warnings. So, another Hollywood-esque book by Stephanie Lanzam. Yes, please. Her last book was really good. I ended up giving it like 4.5 stars. It was so close to 5 stars. I don't know exactly why it wasn't 5 stars, but like it was so close. It was really good. So I'm definitely excited to try another book by her that takes place in like the Hollywood era. I love that era so much. I need more books like that. All right, next one that's coming out. This one is very similar color to the last book that I was talking about, just the color scheme and the historical era. So this is called In Spotlight and Shadow by Rachel Scott McDaniel. And this is part of the Doors to the Past series, but I know they're dual timeline romantic suspense stories, but I think they're all standalones. They're all done by different authors. So I don't think I've read any of the books. I know I am going to be reading at least one this year. So I definitely will be reading that one. I haven't read any of the other ones. I should, but I will be reading one at least this year and this one. So let's see. This one is about Elise Malvern. I love that name, Elise. It's one of my favorites. Has a habit of letting people down. Her former boyfriend, who hoped she'd be his bride. Her grandfather, who hoped she'd take over the family's auction company. But mostly she's disappointed with herself. What's the point of pursuing her passion as a violinist if she is too scared to audition for a seat in the Pittsburgh Symphony? And it's dual timeline too. So a century earlier, it's earlier, Sophie Walters longs for center stage, her name on the marquee, and all that jazz. But climbing her way into an acting career is more difficult than she imagined. That's all I'm going to read because I don't want to read too much more into that. Some of the books that I want to read, I kind of don't want to know too much. I just want to read for enjoyment and not even know. Although I'll probably forget. Long video. I'm already losing my voice today. Next one is coming out. I'm actually going to be getting a copy. I already requested it for a review. So it's called The Metropolitan Affair by Jocelyn Green. This is the first book in the On Central Park series. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with exploration. It's about a girl named Lauren who is an assistant curator of Egyptology for the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and she receives two unexpected invitations. The first is her repentant father's offer to finally bring her to Egypt as his colleague on a new expedition. The second is a chance to enter the world of New York's wealthiest patrons who have been victims of art fraud. Wow. Which invite would you accept? Personally, I would love to go to Egypt. So wow, sounds good. I'm guessing that both invitations probably collide because if you get two invites like that, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to collide in some way. So both sound good. Oh, geese are coming back. I heard geese. All right, anyways. Next one that's coming out. This one actually just came out at the end of December and I did not know it. So I thought it was coming out later, but apparently they changed the dates on me. But this is Silver Bounty by Victoria McCombs. And this is the second book, I believe, in the Oath, like after Oathbound. It's not telling me it's a sequel, but I know it's a sequel. At least I'm pretty sure. But Goodreads won't update. So, pirates. That's all I'm going to say because it is a sequel, but I know there's pirates. That's all I really need to know is pirates. If you don't know, like, I am a huge fan of pirate stories and adventure stories. And if I can find one, especially in the Christian fiction world, I'm reading it no matter what. And I don't know why I'm waiting to read the first book. I know I'm going to love it. Alright, the next one that is coming out actually in January 24th, is Yesterday's Tides by Rosanna M. White. This is her newest release. And I do really love the cover. It's my favorite color, that aqua, green, blue. Love it. So this is 1942. I think it is dual timeline, 1942 and 1914. So let's see. So 1914 looks like Englishman Remington Culbreth arrives at the Ocracoke Inn for the summer, but he doesn't count on falling in love with Louisa Adair, the innkeeper's daughter. When war breaks out in Europe and their relationship is put in jeopardy, will their love survive? And in 1942, Evie Farrow is used to life on Ocracoke Island, where every day is the same until the German U-boats haunting their waters begin to wreak havoc. And when Special Agent Sterling Bertrand is washed ashore at Evie's Inn, her life is turned upside down. Sounds good. I can't wait to read it. And I should be getting a copy of that one too soon. Alright, the next one. There's a couple here that I cannot wait for, and I'm getting copies soon. I'm just so excited for like all these new releases. But this cover, the title, The Weight of Air by Kimberly Duffy. Anything to do with a circus too, like, just, I love it. And if it has to do with aerial acts, I am all for it, because I, growing up, wanted to run away to the circus and become a trapeze artist. Like, I really did. I didn't have the flexibility growing up for that, but not anymore. But yeah, anything to do with aerial acts, yes, please. So let's find out what this is about, because I forgot. All right, in 1911, Mabel McGinnis is Europe's strongest woman and has performed beside her father in the Manzo Brothers circus her entire life. But at his unexpected death, she loses everything she's ever known and sets off in the company of acrobat Jake Cunningham for America in hope of finding the mother she just discovered is still alive. Isabelle Moreau, the nation's most feted aerialist, has given everything to the circus, but age and injury now threaten her security, and Isabella, stalked by old fears, makes a choice that risks everything. When her daughter Mabel appears alongside the man who never wanted to see Isabella again, Isabella is forced to face the truth of where and in what she derives her worth. Yes, aerial acts. I'm so excited. All right, next one. Sorry, I got excited there. Tracy Peterson's new series is coming out, and the first one is called Remember Me, and I read it, and I was like, I need to get my hands on it. So it's coming, hopefully soon. When did I say it's coming out? March. So it might be a little while before I get it. Alright, so this is Addie Bryant is haunted by her past of heartbreak and betrayal. After her beau, Isaac Hansen, left the Yukon, she made a vow to wait for him. When she's sold to a brothel owner after the death of her father, Addie manages to escape with the hope that she can forever hide her past and the belief that she will never have the future she's always dreamed of. Years later, Addie has found peace in her new life as a photographer, training camera girls to operate and sell the Brownie camera. But during the Alaska Yukon Pacific Expo in Seattle, Addie is reunited with Isaac, and when her past catches up with her, Addie must decide whether to run or to stay, and face her wounds in order to embrace her life, her future, and her hope in God. I love Tracy Peterson's book. I don't talk about her usually, because I haven't read any of her newest books lately, because I don't know why. I really don't, because growing up, she was one of my favorite authors, and still remains to this day one of my favorite authors. So, yes, I'm going back into reading her books with her newest release, and I cannot wait, because I'm so excited. I just love her books. Alright, the next one that's coming out is on March 7th. This is Second Time Around by Melody Carlson. This one, I think... Oh no, I have read one other book by her that wasn't Christmas. But this is one of my very first books by her that was not Christmas. So I'm excited to read more books by her that aren't Christmas, because I just really want to read more of her books. I love her books. Alright, so let's see. When empty nester Mallory Farrell, I forgot, I think this is about an older couple falling in love, I think. If I'm correct, I don't know. When empty nester Mallory Farrell inherits her grandmother's rundown tourist shop in Seaport, Oregon, it seems the only sensible thing to do is to sell it. But when her former secret crush, Grayson Matthews, wants to buy the property in order to complete his plans to redevelop the Funky Town's business district into a soulless cookie-cutter outdoor mall, Mallory digs in her heels and decides to renovate the property herself. So I know a lot of people who have been saying they want like, you know, people in like their 40s and 50s and 60s and later on in years falling in love. So I think this one will be great, because there's not that many out there, and I think this one is going to be one. So I'm really excited to try it. All right, next one that's coming out is What Happens Next by Christina Suzanne Nelson. And this one comes out on January 17th. So I should be getting, I think I'm getting a copy of this book. I requested quite a few books for review, so I think I requested this one too. So I think this one has to do with kind of a mystery as well. So I want to say as well, the last one didn't. Anywho. Popular podcaster and ex-reporter Faith Byrne has made a name for herself telling stories of greatness after tragedy, but her real life does not mirror the stories she tells. When she's asked to spotlight her childhood best friend's missing person case on her podcast, she uncovers desperate secrets and must face the truth before she can move forward. That sounds good. I really hope it's good. All right, next one. The Sound of Light by Sarah Sundin. I have been in love with her books since the very first one that I read, like, I don't know, it must be 10 years ago now. And I have read almost every single one of her books. I still have like one or two more series that I need to get to from her old ones. But every book that I've read, I've loved. And so she has a new book coming out. I cannot wait. I really can't. Like, I will literally, when it gets at my door, I will drop everything and read this book. Because, yeah. Yes. So, uh-huh. Alright, anyways. I get excited when I learn that a new author, or a favorite author of mine's coming out with a new book. Can you tell? I get excited. Calm down, girl. Calm down. You'll get to read them. Alright, anyways. So, this one, let's see. It says, when the Germans marched into Denmark, Baron Heinrich, wow, that's a name I'll never be able to pronounce, Heinrich Alfeld, that's a tough one, exchanges his nobility for anonymity, assuming a new identity so he can secretly roll messages for the Danish resistance across the waters to Sweden. I'm excited. I don't think I've read a book that takes place in Sweden. I'm excited. Ooh. American physicist Dr. Elsa Jensen refuses to leave Copenhagen and abandon her research, her life's dream. While printing resistance newspapers, she hears stories of the movement's legendary Havmen, the mermen, and wonders if the mysterious and silent shipyard worker living in the same boarding house has something to hide. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to read it. Alright, anywho, next one, because the next one is another one that I'm really excited about as well, and that is Daughter of Eden by Jill Eileen Smith. And she's one of my favorite biblical fiction authors. She's like on par with like Masu Andrews. They're both amazing, and Tessa Afshar, and they're just all amazing. And this is her newest release, which is about Eve, and I just cannot wait. I'm on her launch team, so I get to have the ebook in advance on NetGalley, and I'm hoping to also get a physical copy too, but I'm so excited to read this one. So, if you didn't know, Daughter of Eden, this is Eve's story. So, basically, I mean, I really don't have to tell you too much about it if you already know Eve's story, but I guess it's like pretty much from the start of like when she wakes up in the Garden of Eden, when God creates her through Adam's ribs, and then pretty much goes throughout the entire book until like the downfall of man, when she unfortunately takes the fruit and gives it to Adam as well. So basically that's what it's going to be about. These authors do a lot of research to make sure they stick with the storyline, but it is fiction. You know, they can't list it as nonfiction, obviously, because there is, you know, a storyline to it. But I'm really excited to read it because I love her books. I do. I've loved all of her books that I've read so far. All right. I don't need to know anymore. I've actually already started reading it. I've read like the first couple pages already. I'm like, yep. I think it's good. Okay. Next one is, and I actually just got my copy of this book, and I got it early. This does not come out until February 21st. Like, why did I get it like almost 2 months early? Some books like I won't get until like literally like a day or two before the publication date, or maybe even after. But, like, some I just get like 2 months before, and I'm like, wow, like yeah, it happens fast sometimes. I honestly thought this book came out like in January, because I'm like, oh, this book came out in January, I should get to it right away. No, this book doesn't come out until next month, end of next month. Maybe they'll do it early, because I didn't get it that early, so they might do an early release. I don't know, maybe. Anyways, so this is called The Maid of Bali Magoo by Jennifer Dybel, and I have heard amazing things of Jennifer Dybel. Like, some of my favorite friends. Some of my friends, they're all favorites. Some of my friends have read Jennifer Dybel and they love her. And so I was like, I have to get the new release. That'll be my first book by the author. I hope I like it. And so yeah, I already have it. I just haven't started it yet, but it's on near my TV waiting for me to read. All right. So this one says, Brianna Kelly was abandoned at Bali Magoo House and boarding school as an infant. She has worked there since she was a wee girl and will likely die there. Despite a sense that she was made for something more, Brianna feels powerless to change her situation. So she consoles herself by exploring the Bali Magoo grounds, looking for hidden treasures to add to the secret trove beneath the floorboards of her room. When Michael Ray, the son of local gentry, is sent to Bali to deal with his unruly cousin, he finds himself drawn to Brianna, immediately and inescapably. There is something about her that feels so familiar. When Brianna finds a piece of silver in the woods, she commits to learning its origins with the help of Michael. What they discover may change everything. That sounds amazing. Is it Ireland? Emerald Isle. Is that Ireland or Scotland? I forgot. I think it's Scotland. I forgot what the Emerald Isle is. Oh no. But I have a feeling I'm going to love it. Somebody mentioned it was a retelling of the Cinderella fairy tale. Interesting. Okay. I'm all for it. I mean, romance. British Isles. I'm all for British Isles. Those are some of my favorite stories, so I cannot wait. All right, and then the next one that's coming out, which I actually do have, and I should be getting a book review out for you by Sunday. So, or on Sunday, because that's when I do my book reviews. Or Monday, depending on when I finish it. But anyway, so this is Everything is Just Beginning by Aaron Bartels. And this one, I know it's about a musician, and he is a lyricist and a decent guitarist. But since he was kicked out of his band and his apartment, he's not sure he'll ever get a record deal. Living with his loser uncle in a beat-up trailer and working a dead-end job, Michael has little reason to hope for a better future, until the invitation for a swanky New Year's Eve party shows up in the mailbox. It's for his uncle, with whom he shares his name, but his uncle is going out of town. Interesting. I never heard of this author, Aaron Bartels, but again, I really love the cover. I love music stories, so I was like, okay, I'm going to get it. I'm going to try it. So I'm hoping to like it. And I'm excited because this book I will definitely be finishing this week. All right, so the next one is, I don't know why they don't have the cover yet in Goodreads, but it is Winning His Trust by Tony Shiloh. And this is coming out on February 21st. And this one I should be getting a copy of. I think I'm on her launch team, but I have to double check. But I think I am. But because I just got on her launch team. So I'm happy because she's one of my favorite authors. And I do love her so much. So I'm excited to get to her newest release. And this is, I believe, a love-inspired book. And this is says, to build a future together, they must both let go of the past. Returning home after a bad breakup, Jordan Wood is eager to prove she can run her family store. Setting up a partnership with Declan Porter's struggling adventure business might do the trick, but the handsome single dad is set in his ways, in business and in love. Can winning his and his son's heart help them all heal? That sounds sweet and romantic, and I can't wait because I do love her books so much. All right, next one that's coming out is What I Would Tell You by Liz Tolsma. Comes out January 1st, and I thought it was part of a series, like one of those like series where like all the authors like write different books. But I guess not. It's a standalone. I thought it was though. Just mistaken, I guess. All right, so this one says 1941, the pounding of Nazi boots on the streets of Salonika, Greece. Ooh, another new country. You know, one of my goals this year, even though I didn't mention it in my video, is to read more books from different countries. We're on a roll here. British Isles, Sweden, Greece. Yes, I've been traveling a lot this year, at least through books, anyways. But yeah, so let's see. The pounding of Nazi boots reverberates in Matilda Neesom's ears, shaking her large community of Sephardic Jews to its core and altering her life forever. If only her people would rise up and resist their captors. At great risk to herself and those around her, she uses a small newspaper she publishes to call them to action, all to no avail. Her husband encourages her to trust God to watch over them, but God has once again deserted his people. Amid the chaos, Matilda discovers she's expecting a longed-for child. So nothing stops the occupiers' noose from tightening around their necks. She may have to resort to desperate measures to ensure her daughter's survival. That's going to be heartbreaking. It's also dual timeline. It's also 2019 as well. And it's based in part on true accounts of Jews in Salonika? I don't know how to pronounce that. Salonika, Greece. Wow. Okay, interesting. I'm excited. I've actually never heard of any stories about Jews in Greece, so I'm really excited to try that book out. All right. Got quite a few Christian fiction. There's so many good ones. All right, so the next one is Double the Lies by Patricia Raybon. I thought I had the first book on my shelves. Like, I ordered it. Oh yeah, I did. Here it is. Here it is. All the Secret. So this is the first book. I've heard mixed reviews about this book, but the second one is coming out in February 7th. And so I would like to get to... Can I ever put back books that you take out of your bookshelves? Anybody else got that problem? There we go. All right. So I can't tell you too much about it because it is the second book, but it's a mystery. I hope you like it. I gotta read the first book first before I can read the second book. So that's the next one. Next one is Dark of Night by Colleen Coble. Again, I can't tell you too much about it because it is the second book in a series. I thought this one already came out. I guess it didn't. But this one comes out January 10th, which is actually like has already happened by the time you're seeing this video. So this is the second book in her new series, Annie Penderson. It also takes place in, I believe, the same area as her Rock Harbor series. So I'm excited to see that because that was my favorite series of hers that I've read so far. And she's also another one of my favorite authors. So excited to read it. I need more water. All right. So I'll see what the first book is about. I don't really want to know because I like to not know too much about it. 9-year-old Annie Pedersen's life changed the night her sister was kidnapped. The two had been outside playing on a deck, and Annie never forgave herself for her role in her sister's disappearance. 24 years later, and now a law enforcement ranger, Annie is still searching for answers as she grieves a new loss, the death of her husband and parents in a boating accident. But Annie and her 8-year-old daughter Kylie aren't the only people in the town of Rock Harbor whose lives have been marred by tragedy. While managing the property around the Tremola Resort and Marina she inherited, Annie discovers a dead body floating in the cold Superior surf and begins to work with the sheriff's office to tie the death to a series of other mysterious reports in the area. Sounds good. All right. Can't wait to read it. I'm honestly waiting for the third book to come out because I really want to just read them all at once. Because her books, I just want to binge read all of them. Oh, the next one comes out in July, so that's not much of a wait. That's good. I thought I'd have to wait until next year. All right, so let's see. The next one that's coming out sounds amazing. And it is Pepper Basham's new book that's coming out, and it's called The Cairo Curse, and it's coming out on February 1st. And this is the second book in a series as well. It's the Frederick and Grace Mysteries. Oh, I didn't know it was the sequel to The Mistletoe Countess. I got that out from the library and I never read it. Now I gotta go back and read it. So this is the sequel, supposedly, to The Mistletoe Countess. And so many people have read it, probably because the anticipation of this... Sorry, I'm waving my ponytail around. But in anticipation of this book, and I cannot wait, because this book just looks amazing. The title, The Cairo Curse, please. I love anything to do with, Egyptian mysteries. Oh yeah. You're getting to know more about me through these new releases because I do love a great adventure book that takes place in Egypt and around that era. It's going to be good. I can feel it. So I can't tell you anything about that because it is a sequel, but I think it's going to be great. All right, the next one that's coming out is A Cry in the Dark by Jessica R. Patch. I'm actually following her on Facebook, but I've never read any of her books yet. That's going to change. It's going to change. All right, so this one says... Led to an isolated Appalachian mountain town by a trail of disturbing murders, FBI Special Agent Violet Rainwater is determined to catch a serial killer with a twisted agenda. With locals refusing to reveal their secrets, Violet's only ally is Detective John Orlando, but even John has an ulterior motive. He's convinced this case is connected to his wife's murder. Okay. Murder mystery. I'm all for it. All right, so that's it. That is the last one. Whew, that was a lot of Christian fiction. That was a lot. Wow. Please forgive the longness of this video. I'm almost filming for over 50 minutes. It will be shorter than that for you all because I'll be editing out all of the little stuff that you don't see. But there's a lot of new books, and I think it's going to be a great reading year. I cannot wait to get to a lot of these. Last year, I didn't read as many new releases as I wanted to. I did have a list going, and this year I have another list going, and I would love to be able to read I'd love to read at least 70% of the new releases that come out, at least the ones I'm excited for. So we shall see. All right, so let me know if you're excited for any of these or any other new books that that I don't know about. I would love to know if you know about any that I've never heard of, and I will most likely put it on my list if it sounds good. So let me know if any of these sound good to you, what you're excited to for new releases coming out this year, even if it's past March. Like, I'd like to do one for like the full year, but I do like the quarterly feel because it gives me some time to find any extra new releases that come out later on this year. My list is extensive, but later on in the year, they always come out with new books as well, and I like to add those later too. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a little bit long, but I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video.